If you clicked into this, it is probably because you are trying to figure out how you are going to travel on either a budget airline or a budget ticket where you can only take a personal item. When I started taking these flights, I had the same question. I was like, how in the world am I gonna do that? So today I thought it would be a really fun challenge to show you how I pack in not only a carry-on and personal item, but how I downsize all of that into just a personal item sized backpack for those trips where that's all you can bring is a bag that fits under the seat in front of you. This was so much harder than I thought it was going to be. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let me show you what I have in my carry-on. Oh my God, this weather's crazy. You guys know I love BagSmart. I talk about their backpack all the time, and they recently sent me this rolling suitcase, which I am so grateful for. My old one, my mom bought it for me before my study abroad semester in 2014, and it has come with me on almost every single trip since then, at least when I can bring it. However, it is really starting to show its age, and even after replacing one of the wheels, it just doesn't roll well anymore. So when BagSmart offered to send this, I was like, yes, please. And if you hear any thunder or rain, that's because it is storming outside today. So my apologies in advance. I divided the suitcase in half, putting my clothes on the right side and then some other extras on the left that I want to bring along, but I don't necessarily need to bring in my personal item. I really love that on the right side, there's this like compression pad in addition to just the straps, because I think it keeps everything nice and tight inside the bag so nothing like falls out when you try to open it. Now, normally with rolling suitcases, I don't use packing cubes, but I wanted to show you this for the purpose of the video. If you do have BagSmart's packing cubes, you can fit a medium one sideways in here, and you might be able to fit another medium one on top, though I would suggest maybe like a small. What I did is I had a packing cube at the bottom, and then I put some other clothes on top of that. So in that packing cube, I've got a mid-length linen dress, a crop top, a tank top, a short linen dress, linen pants, and jeans. And then above that, I have 4 pairs of socks, a bralette, I think 9 pairs of underwear, a wrap top that I use to layer for warmth or just like a little if I need to cover up, shorts, a tank top, a t-shirt, and my PJ top and shorts that I just wear when I'm sleeping at night. All of these items mix and match really well together, plus they give me a little bit of versatility depending on the weather, because when you're traveling in like spring, summer, sometimes it can be a little warmer or a little cooler than you expect it to be, so I'm covered for both of those situations with these items. I also placed a small clutch in here in case I want to do something slightly nicer and I don't want to bring my backpack as my bag. So on the other side of the bag are my extras that I want to bring but I don't necessarily want in my personal item. I packed my travel bidet, which I know this is so extra, but once you use a bidet, you can't go back, and I really like this for hotels and Airbnbs. I also have these cakes, which are seamless nipple covers. I don't know if I can say that on here. Basically, they're like seamless pads, and I tuck these inside my bralette for a little more coverage without having to bring like a padded bra. And they can be worn alone as well, so I don't need to pack a strapless bra either. I've also got my period cup because that always seems to arrive when I go on a trip. My hair straightener, a power strip that I can use to extend the outlet and plug more things in, some makeup brushes, a packable tote bag if I decide I want to bring more stuff back, my Steam Deck, which is like a little mini gaming rig. I've never brought this before because it takes up too much space, but I have room in this, as well as a small kind of like camera sling, purse, and my Birkenstock sandals. I'm gonna wear my tennis shoes on the plane, so I'll have 2 pairs of shoes with me on the trip. And then on the flap, there's also 2 pockets as well. In the waterproof one, I packed my toothbrush and my tongue scraper. And then on the other side, I packed a little box with some jewelry and some medication. If you've watched my other videos, this feels like a lot of stuff already, but honestly, I still have room in this side. And there's also an expansion zipper on the bag. So I really haven't packed this bag as full as it can go. Amazingly, we've still got to pack my personal item. And this is what's going to go under the seat in front of me on the flight. I went ahead and put everything that I want to bring on the table, and that is what we are going to fit and puzzle piece into this backpack. And this backpack is typically where I keep most of my like camera and electronic stuff. I have always been a person who documents everything, brings their camera everywhere. So I like to use my personal item as my camera bag, although I don't really like most camera bags. So what I use is basically this padded camera insert. You can put this into any backpack and it kind of helps you organize your stuff. If you're not bringing camera gear, you could use it as well. It's just how I like to bring my equipment and organize it for trips. Inside of this, I've got my camera, an extra lens, my charger and an extra battery, my mic, my camera strap, a lightweight tripod as well as my Gorilla Pod, a phone mount for both of those, a small light, and my SD card reader that I can use to put photos directly on my phone if I want. With that in the bottom of the bag, I put my toiletries on top of it, and then I start to add all of my other stuff just in the little pockets around it. Like in this front one, I'll put my wallet, my headphones, my lip gloss, my chapstick, my sunglasses, things that I want the quickest access to. And then in the big pocket, I will also slide my Ziploc bag with all of my chargers and cords, as well as some wet wipes and tissues, because if you have ever traveled and been caught without toilet paper or bad toilet paper, you know that this is a necessity. So that is my carry-on setup. It is fairly compact, and while it's not light per se, I find it easy enough to carry and roll around cities, walk up and down stairs easily enough. But if you can't bring a carry-on and a backpack, how do you take everything that you want to from these two bags and fit it into one? Like, what do you keep and what do you toss? Which is really the purpose of this video. I have to let you guys know I did not plan this very much in advance, so you get to see me real time decide what to take and what to toss on this trip. The thing we need is a slightly larger backpack. While I love this bag so much, it's not actually the maximum size a personal item can be. So since we're gonna fit everything into this, we really want it to be as big as possible. And I wanna look at the clothes first because this is what's going to take up the most amount of space in the bag, so we should start here. With everything spread out, I'm just gonna grab my non-negotiables first and put them in the packing cube. I know I'm gonna bring my PJs, my socks, my bralette, but I'm probably going to cut the number of underwear I bring. Rather than bringing like 8 or 9, I'm just gonna bring 6. And next, I wanna look at the tops. All of these work with the bottoms that I've packed, so I think we can probably get rid of one of these, since I also have 2 dresses, which will kind of, make a whole outfit. I'm definitely keeping this wrap cover up, but I think I'm going to toss this tank top because I prefer the other one a little bit more. But this is like a really hard decision because I feel like I don't have a ton of tops. Anyway, moving on to pants, I have my jeans, linen pants, and shorts, and this is another really difficult decision to make. But I think I'm going to toss the linen pants because the jeans are just like a little bit more versatile. And finally, I have my 2 black linen dresses. So this is pretty easy. I'm just gonna keep one of them, probably the longer one. And then I'm not gonna lie, I started to freak out about not bringing enough tops. And honestly, that other tank top is small enough. I just put it back in and added it to the stack. And then I just folded everything and put it inside the packing cube. These PackSmart packing cubes are so difficult to compress. So I tried and then immediately gave up and just put it inside the bottom of the bag. It was really hard to give up some of these items, but each piece is very versatile. So I do think I could mix and match to fit whatever weather or activities come up during the trip. With that at the bottom of the bag, I always put my toiletries on top of that, but we still have a little bit of space over here on the left side of the bag that we can fill in with more stuff, as well as some flat space on top of the packing cube where we can put more flat items as well. Here is everything else that we're going to try to narrow down. Once again, starting with the most obvious stuff, I'm gonna keep my wallet, my earbuds, my chapstick, my sunglasses, and my medicine. And of course, my toothbrush and tongue scraper as well. An easy one to toss and get rid of is my Steam Deck because this is just way too big and I'm not gonna have space. Instead, I'm going to bring my Kindle because it's a lot smaller. I'm also going to get rid of these Birkenstocks because they're a bit bulky and I don't think I'll have room in the bag, but I'm going to switch them out for something I got recently. These are sandals from Crocs. They kind of look like fancy flip-flops, so they don't take up a lot of space, but I think they look nice and are comfortable for a sandal. Then my beloved travel bidet also has to go, and I'm just gonna bring more wet wipes instead. I'm also going to remove my period cup from this case it comes in and just put it in a smaller fabric bag instead, so it takes up a little less space. Next, I am definitely bringing my cakes and my makeup brushes because I will use these every day of the trip, and they don't take up that much space. And I think we all knew this had to go, but next I am going to ditch my camera equipment. This would take up more than half of the bag, and if I brought this, I wouldn't even have enough space for my clothes and toiletries, so this has to go. However, I am gonna keep this small tripod so that I can still take photos, just use my phone and this instead. Wet wipes and tissues are staying, of course, for reasons mentioned earlier, as well as my mask that I wear in the plane so I don't get sick. I'm going to try to bring this small jewelry box, but if it doesn't fit, I can just take the stuff out and put it in a Ziploc bag, or I can wear it on the plane. The straightener is a maybe, as well as these 2 bags. We're just gonna have to see. I'll try to pack them in at the end, and if there's space, there's space. And then instead of bringing all of these cords, cables, wall things, I'm going to switch them out for something more compact. I got this multi-use cable on TikTok Shop, and I freaking love it. So much that I even got another one for my partner. Basically, this gives you 4 cables in one. So one side is a normal USB and USB-C, and then the other side is Lightning and USB-C, so you can mix and match to create really any combo that you need. I'm also going to bring this, which is totally new to me. This thing is so functional. So not only is it a wall brick, but it's also a power bank. It has contactless charging, and then it also has 3 ports on the side, and it is strong enough that you can charge your laptop off of it. So I'm able to replace all of these other tech stuff that I used to bring before, and now all I need are these 2 things, which is incredible. The last things I'm gonna try to take are my magnetic phone stand. I bring this everywhere. It should be able to fit, as well as my hard drive and these eye masks. I like them for longer flights, but they're not a necessity, though I think they should fit because they're pretty small. Okay, let's start putting this all back together. Starting with the tripod, this will fit easily on the side of my packing cube, and my straightener should fit on top of that. Plus, I have a little bit of extra room there as well for my makeup brushes. And then I'm just gonna put this clutch here because it's flat. There's a lot of open space up in this corner, so I'm gonna put a few smaller items here, like my cakes, my medication, and that little jewelry box, as well as my phone mount for my tripod. Moving on to the external pockets on the front, I'm just gonna slide my Kindle into the first one, and then behind that in the larger pocket, I'm gonna put my masks, as well as my toothbrush and my tongue scraper. And then I'm gonna put my most used items in that top quick access pocket, like my headphones, chapstick, and wallet. And this pocket is getting a little bit snug, so I'm going to put my wet wipes and my tissues here instead. And then all of my tech things are going in the back of the bag in these elastic pockets. Opening up the bag, I can fit my packable tote here, but this small bag is just too big. While I was packing, I remembered that I actually have another sling that's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to pack that instead. And then the last thing I need to add are my sandals in the bottom pocket. As you can see, I am struggling. So I took a couple things out of the bag and just shook the items inside to the top, just so I could put my shoes in, and then added all of it back. This backpack is truly, truly stuffed. I think if I were to repack it, which I don't want to do for this video, I would probably take out the jeans or wear them on the plane so that I can bring them, but they don't take up as much space because those are quite heavy. And I think if I cleared out a little bit of space in the clothes, it would give me more room for other things. And if I could compress the cube, that would help as well. But I've said it before, with these Bag Smart cubes, I have a really hard time compressing them, and I typically prefer a different style, but I thought I'd just show you how they work with their other items today. Okay, so you're not supposed to do this, but I'm gonna show you one more trick. I'm gonna take all of my quick access stuff and put it into that small sling. This saves me a little bit of space in my bag, and personally, I have never gotten in trouble or been flagged for this, but if you are worried about it, just make sure that your bag is small enough to fit under your jacket or a sweater, and that you can pack it into your bag just in case. Yeah, we did it. Somehow, we did it. I hope that you can take away some, tips from this. Even if you're not prioritizing and packing the same things as I like to, you can apply the same principles when you're packing and trying to downsize for your trip. Let me know in the comments if you have any other tips and tricks, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.